What is the two biggest differences between who you are now and who you were 10 years ago?
Oh, 10 years ago. How old was I 10 years ago? Oh, okay. The two biggest differences between who I am now and who I was 10 years ago. I don't even know how old I am. I can't remember. What was 10 years ago? Okay. 10 years ago, my belief system was totally different. Like I didn't have belief in myself. And today that is something that's still being worked on. But what's really cool is that I surround myself with people who believe in me more than I believe in myself. And so that gives me the power. Like they see things in me that I don't even see in myself. And then I'm like, oh, well, so something that changed major for me. Number one, I used to be 230 pounds and overweight and eat from the dollar menu every day. And so that's one of the biggest things is that I'm dedicated to my health and fitness. And that's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. That's all of that health and fitness. I mean, spiritual fitness is number one for me. Like without that, I have nothing else. And so that's one of the biggest things, right? But the other is my belief system. And not just in myself. Like today, my belief lies in God. And, Jesus and the Holy Spirit. I have my trifecta of just holiness around me all the time. But my belief from that about myself is that I have a calling and a destiny placed on my life. I am here for a mission, for a purpose. I might not know what it is every day. Some days it's different than it was yesterday. But like the ultimate mission and purpose is for me to love others enough that they can see that they have a purpose and a mission here, and so just be this ultimate vessel and channel for love to flow through me. And 10 years ago, it was all about me. It was, it was selfish, self-centered. What can I get? What can I take from this? Not what can I bring to the table? What can I get from this? How is this going to serve me? Right. And today it's like, I just live this life. I hit my knees every single morning. I roll out of bed onto my knees and I ask the Lord to allow me to be a vessel and channel for his love and grace and mercy, like period, the end, every single day I do that every single day. And so, it's from being selfish, self-centered to being a servant. My belief system has changed, and fitness, my health, focusing on my health, because this is the only body we're going to get, right? Yeah. The only mind we're going to get. We don't get a second chance. This is the one and only chance that we get. This is the one and only body that we get. And so I have to take care of it in order to fulfill that mission and that purpose that the Lord has placed on my life. So.
Who was the person you used, like a mentor or a coach or whatever, to go from where you were, your weight wise, to where you are now? What was the turning point? Like, what was the?
This is my third go at being sober. The first two times, I relapsed for 3 months each time. So my first time getting sober was in 2012. And there's been 6 months in between then and now that I had drank and used drugs. When I first got sober, my mom actually was really, really sick and she was in the hospital, and it took them months to figure out why and what was going on. And she woke up one day and she couldn't walk. And so she was in the hospital, and they diagnosed her with the most progressive form of MS. And I can remember like I said, my mom was 15 when she had me. So she's only 15 years older than I am. I don't even know how old I am. So don't ask how old my mom is right now. But I was working one day and I was the front desk girl at a local marina. I live here in New Hampshire on Lake Winnipesaukee. And so I was walking out to my car and I dropped my car keys. And I had gotten the phone call shortly before that my mom had been diagnosed with MS, and that it was, a progressive disease that will never get better. It's only going to get worse. And so I dropped my car keys on the ground and I bent down to pick them up. And I don't know if you guys have ever been carrying a bunch of stuff in your hands and you drop your keys and they fall on the ground. You're, you know what I mean? I gotta bend down and pick them up. That was my initial reaction, right? That was my first behavior, right? My first thought, And I bent down to pick them up. And my second thought was, you should be grateful. Your mom is laying in a bed and cannot walk. And so I vowed from that day on to never take for granted the fact that I could physically be active. And so it's developed from then. My mom still has MS. It's not going to get any better. It's continuously progressing. She goes and gets, treatment every 28 days. And it's tough. My sister is 6 months younger than my son is. I have a sister who's 13 years old. And so my mom's raising a child while she's going through the struggles of MS. And so, since then, I mean, my uncle walked into, a walk-in clinic thinking he had the flu one day. He had a fever and was vomiting. And they immediately put him into a medically induced coma and med-flighted him to a hospital. And he had an infection in his leg that he didn't know about because he has diabetes. And so he couldn't feel it, neuropathy. And they amputated his leg above the knee. So he went in, and then while he was there, he actually coded twice and they brought him back to life. He was there for a month. So he went into this doctor's office thinking he was being treated for the flu and woke up a month later with no leg and had died twice. And so things of that nature, there are people who physically do not get the chance. I mean, think about war veterans, right? They don't get the opportunity to be physically active. You just went through it. What is your foot? How's your foot, sister? Right? You know what I mean? If you are going through something like that, all you want is to be like, you long to be active, to be able to walk again, to be able to, so for anyone who has that ability to take it for granted, like that is mind blowing to me. Get up and go for a walk, man. I don't care. I don't care that, what, if it's rainy, I don't care. Go for a walk, go move your body. If you can, don't take that for granted. Yeah. It's the little things that you don't even think about because we do them on a daily basis, right? Until it's taken from you. Yeah. And so that, and then during my journey, I started plugging into this lady, Dana Lynn Bailey, and her husband, Rob Bailey, and they're bodybuilders, and she's getting back into lifting. So if you go look at her stuff, she is super inspirational. I believe she was the first ever Miss Olympia. And so I started plugging into her stuff, watching her videos every single morning of her training, and she's just intense. And so I got into bodybuilding and I got into lifting, and I did bodybuilding competitions professionally for 3 years, 5 shows, medals, trophies, all of the things. Like I just become obsessed with getting better and better and better. So yeah, so there's been, my mom is my number one inspiration. I love her to bits and pieces, and it breaks my heart that physical ability has been taken from her. So in place, I vow to never take it for granted.
Oh, I love that. I was not expecting that story. Oh,
I got all the emotional stuff, sister. Listen.
Wow, that was so good. That's so
got emotional baggage up in here.
Yeah. And yes, to you, what you said about my foot, you do, like when I broke that, I remember the first time I took a shower standing, I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my God, I can stand. Like, I'm never going to complain. Because I would always say, we have a seat in our shower, and I got spoiled with that with my last relationship. And I'm always like, I need a seat in my shower. And now I'm like, screw the seat. I don't care about a seat. I don't care about
Praise God, right?
We're standing.
I love that.
Or
Yeah,
like
it just
the first time I swept, like I remember the first time I swept our floor, and I'm like, I'm never gonna complain about sweeping ever again.
it's wild, like this self-awareness, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
crazy.